Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm actually filming on a brand new camera. It's a Canon EOS M50 Mark II. And so it's a mirrorless camera, meaning that I can add like a lens, I can add a mic, and so on. So I am honestly super excited to be able to add those types of things, just because I was filming on a PowerShot Canon G7X Mark II, and so I'm super excited to actually upgrade from this thing. I love this camera. It was a great starting camera. It has so many features that can help your videos really stand out, honestly, and it was just time for me to upgrade. And so I decided to stick with the M50. And I'm so glad I did, because I have not had any complaints so far. I mean, I got it for around $750 after taxes, which I feel like is not bad at all. So I wanted to start kind of on the smaller end instead of spending thousands of dollars on like a Canon 80D or a Canon 90D and so on. So I'm so glad I started with this camera. So for today's video, I'll be showing you guys how I study in nursing school. I'm sorry for the lighting change, but it's been a while since I last talked to you guys on the camera, so just wanted to get that out there. But anyways, let's get the video started. So instead of using actual notebooks, I use an iPad Pro with a second generation Apple Pencil that attaches to the side. The app I use is GoodNotes, which you've probably heard of Notability as well, but I personally like GoodNotes better, just because you can organize more ways and structure your tests, structure your folders, notebooks, and so on. So I will show you guys how I organize my classes and go from there. Alright, this is how I have my iPad organized on GoodNotes. I have church, I have human development, and then I have nursing school. And so I'm going to go ahead and go into nursing school, and I have a first year folder, and eventually I will have a second year folder beside it, but for now we're just going to stick with first year. And I have fundamentals, I have OB, and then I have psych. So I'm going to go ahead and go into, I guess, maternal OB. That's what I'm taking now. And then I have clinical paperwork, I have some schedules and our calendar and just some extra little assignments. And then I have on the bottom my 3 tests. So let's go ahead and go into test 1. And so here I have each chapter that's on that test in this little folder. And so first I'm going to show you my study plan. I make this for each test. So with each study plan, I list out each chapter just in the order as we go over them. So you can see chapter 13 all the way down to chapter 15. So the first thing I always do is write the class and the test on the top. And then I make a key where it says text, review, and then Quizlet. Here is a little rundown of how I do it. Like I mentioned, I list each chapter down, and then I list their questions down. So the first thing I do is listen to the in-class lecture when I go to class, and then I will come home and review the online lecture that they upload. So once I review the online lecture, I will check the review section for that chapter. So for instance, this check mark right here that's under the review section, I will check it. And then depending on what I do next, I will either listen to the next chapter or I will go to the textbook. So when I go to the textbook, I skim over certain sections that I need clarification on, or if I feel will be heavy on the test, and so forth. I don't have enough time to necessarily read the whole book, but I do skim over most of it. So once I do go over that part in the textbook, I will check the text section. After going over the text portion of my review, I will then make a Quizlet. But as you can tell, the only Quizlet I made is for chapter 13, because I had a lot of chapters to test, and honestly I just wasn't feeling it. But I have made all the Quizlets for the next test, so yeah, so I only did one, so I checked chapter 13. Now let's get into the direct method of note-taking. So I'm going to show you chapter 13. This is the first actual chapter that we did in OB. This particular slide is honestly a good example because it has almost every color that I use on here. let's start with the highlighters. So the only highlight colors that I use are blue, yellow, and orange. The blue signifies like a major heading, and then the yellow signifies like another subheading, and the orange signifies another subheading under the yellow. As you can tell, passageway is the big heading, and so if I go down, you can tell labor is another big heading, and then signs is another heading. So from there it just keeps going and going, and this one is another good example of my highlights because it shows like each one and you can kind of correlate which one goes with what. While in class, I write everything the teacher says in red so I know what she says and like how important it is. And then also what she says on the online lectures that are more in depth, I will write in purple. So it's kind of like extra notes that work together. And here you see green, and green is used for my study group. So my lab partners and I will get together sometimes and study. And whenever we go over important information that I need that's like extra, I will rewrite it in green so I know that we went over that. So for instance, here is a bipolar disorder chapter from Psych. As you can tell, it has a lot of notes. And also, I'm seeing the pink now, so I just remembered that the pink is from the textbook. So the things that I find that are extra notes from the textbook that correlate to what I'm learning, I will write in pink. The purple is online lectures. The red is what she says in class. And then the highlights are like subheadings and important information. But take into note that this class was an online class, so therefore I do not have any red. So I have more purple and more pink from the textbook and from the online. Here's another good example of my note taking. These were like notes from this little section right here that I needed more room, so I went and found these in the textbook. So I went and highlighted them and wrote them in pink because they came from the textbook. And lastly, whenever I have all of my notes on one thing, like I have all my textbook notes, I have all my in-class notes, and all my online notes, I will go to Quizlet and simply just write out like you would on note cards, just kind of like questions or like important information and so forth. So I will show you guys that real quick, and that's all I do to study. Here we go. So for instance, on the left side of the screen, I have my good notes pulled up. And for instance, right here where it says dystocia, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but right there, I have it over here on the right side on Quizlet, and it says what is dystocia, and it is dysfunctional labor. So for instance, as you look at my Quizlet, I have different questions that correlate to the PowerPoints, and it's pretty much just rewriting all the information. So I'll do that on every single slide and just finish up the PowerPoint that way. So yeah, that is how I study in nursing school, and it has honestly gotten me like a few semesters, so I plan on doing it next semester in Med-Surg as well. And it's a lot of steps, but I feel like it helps because all the redundance and all like going over things so many times, it really helps me learn. But of course, everybody's different, so this may not work for you, but if it does, leave me a comment down below and let me know you tried it or if you got something from this video. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye!